I don't know. What's that? I don't know. We send it out to everybody. Dawn's here.
Do you want to, can they hear us?
Can you guys hear us okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Do you want to turn it
I
down?
think it's Meg. I see Megan's pretty picture, I think, of her, the back of her laptop, the beach.
That's our video camera in action. Now, I don't know if it's going to work going face to face.
It's okay.
I haven't been able to practice with that yet. But,
Okay.
yeah.
I don't know. This is just looking at the laptop.
Yeah, let me sit here.
Okay. See, thank you.
Let's see if we talk. Oh.
See you.
Hello.
Really, ideally, is I could probably, next time I can prop it up somewhere so it just faces us.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to move at each talking point. Do you see what I'm saying?
Whatever that little rolling cart is right there with a lamp on it that's not plugged in.
Yeah, can you just move it right in front of us? And that way, that should work.
Are you? Do you have enough cord to go that far away from your laptop?
I have put on my camera, but I'm in like a tank top and sweatshirt and.
Well, everybody can hear
All right,
you,
you
so
guys,
keep it clean.
you guys,
when
well,
you're driving.
I have
It is like a full
Did it go off
picture.
if I unplug it? I have a charge.
Yeah, it went off.
Alright, so I can't unplug it.
You need an extension?
Yeah, well, next time we'll need an extension, so that's as far as I can go.
There's a,
Changed a couple places.
oh, there's that.
It works for you.
But it's
There's this thing.
Okay.
This might do it.
Yeah, that should work.
Which one was it? The bottom one?
Yeah, this is.
I would probably clear it. Unless you're excellent.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, Dawn and Robin, you guys gotta see this thing. It moves around when you're talking, and I don't know what it's looking
All right. Is that a good spot?
Can't flash anymore.
Here, I'll go back to my
Oh my
computer.
goodness, it's spinning around like an alien.
Well, we just plugged it in, so it's
Doing its
thinking.
little thing.
Listen, 2 meetings, and I'm gonna need one of these at home, I'm telling you right now.
All right. Hold on, I gotta start it again. Okie dokie. Oh, that's pretty good. You can see what they, oh yeah, okay.
Nancy, talk.
Gotta back up a little bit more, you guys should see everything.
Where Lindsay's.
I don't know if I have to configure it to move around, I'm not sure.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It's supposed to, but I don't know. I'm just backing up a little more to try to get everybody. Can you guys see everybody now?
nah, not really, but we can get close.
Okay.
Nancy, move down a bit. Charlie, you might need to move down a little bit.
It's ugly. Careful.
One big happy fan.
Yeah, like a semicircle might work better next time.
She wanted to go up.
So sorry,
with
we are gonna
something,
get started.
and
Sorry, I promise.
Ironing out technical difficulties. Well, that's, we got you in there. Yeah, so we're all in there.
I don't know how to turn this on, I don't know what I'm doing, is it,
You want it on?
yeah.
The microphone. Oh, I wonder if that's where you have to do the audio in that room
So-
back there.
Yeah, because I turned
I
it
can
on,
look
but I don't.
of a person at my door in this. So.
Jim Mack, he's not gonna know if this room is one of those things set up for the microphone.
My front door is set up. No, no.
Alright, I'm just gonna forego the microphone for
And
tonight, because I don't
turn
know.
back, and he's looking,
Just yell at us,
and
yell at us.
Oh, is that the, I was bouncing and it remembered.
Yeah.
he's looking around.
You liked it.
And then he walks
Okay.
into the grass.
Okey dokey.
Alright, we got everybody on?
Oh my goodness.
That was at 9:26.
It's hard not to like stare. Okay,
Midnight, after midnight.
the president will call the meeting to order. I apologize for the delay. Thanks to everyone for your attendance. So secretary will confirm that all board members have been notified and notice was properly posted on the association property in advance of the meeting.
I
Tuesday on the bulletin boards. Do we have a quorum? All,
Yeah.
everybody's here, look at that. Awesome. Okay. Motion to approve Board of Directors meeting minutes from March 6, 2024.
So move.
We have a second?
Second.
Okay, and then March 6, 2024 organizational as
You have
requested.
to ask for a vote.
Oh, okay. Do we approve?
You can do them both at once, but
Okay.
yeah, if you're in agreement.
Are we all in agreement with the meeting minutes? Is there discussion? Okay. Those who approve, say aye.
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 Those opposed, say con?
Did you say con?
I don't know, maybe con. All right, so the meeting minutes are approved. Unfinished business. Oh, reports. Are we doing reports?
Not if you don't have any.
Do we have any reports of clusters tonight?
No, it was, Tom was given a president's report, but if you don't wanna.
There's
no,
nothing.
okay.
There's nothing to report this time from the president. I apologize, maybe next month. Unfinished business is consideration of oversight director hiring. This is something that was brought up at the last meeting, and it's something I think we're looking to, at this point, defer until budget season, when we actually have a budget to potentially discuss this. Is there any discussion?
You want a motion to defer it, or?
Or do we have discussion or questions before we do a motion to defer? Or do we just want to defer? All right.
This is Dawn, I'm good to defer.
Okay.
We can't get it working, so.
There's something in there, and
Move up.
yeah, if you can't hear me, I apologize, you might want to move up. I don't know how it was set up in the past for that thing to work. So motion to defer, those who are in favor say pro. Pro.
Oh.
Those opposed say no. All right.
She just changes the words.
Well, sorry, I was trying to read Robert's Rules of Orders online the other night, and
Yay and nay.
I was trying, yay and nay, okay.
Pro and con,
All right,
fine,
so
whatever.
it's deferred until budget season, which is what, October, November?
Yeah, well, September we're gonna start, so.
Okay. So second unfinished business is consideration of duty-free 911 service and ongoing contract.
Well,
Does everybody, y'all have this?
we have done, you have not signed a contract or contracted with these people. It was just that we did the 2-month
2 months.
trial,
Okay.
and they have inquired as to whether we're pleased or not.
I can tell you that
Yeah.
there have been at least 3 Saturdays when I've been there and had to put things in the bin, and the bin has been half full because they didn't show up that day. Because they could not possibly have gotten that full by the time I got there, if they'd been there earlier in the day.
They did say Wednesday and
Saturday.
Saturday.
So, we have an employee that is supposed to be doing this.
Yes.
And
So,
he does.
so is he going to do it or not?
He always does it. Every Monday and every Friday, he empties them.
Why did we hire him?
I'm gonna remind you all of the reason we did this. It was because of Abraham's absences, frequent absences, and we didn't have anyone to do it. So the association at the time, that board, asked us to get quotes to replace this service and leave him free to just do projects and repairs. And that way, you'd get more project work done, but also we wouldn't have to worry about it on the week he was off. That's why we went with this. We've tried it for 2 months now. You guys decide if that was feasible or not, or?
Somewhat related to this whole category, I know last meeting and the meeting before, I had said, when we were talking about potentially hiring out and expanding more as far as that position, I tried to post a job posting on Indeed, and it wouldn't let me without without paying for it, because that's kind of like a general, Indeed does let you post free ads for certain types of positions, but that one apparently was too broad, being a maintenance person, so I would need permission to pay for an ad to be able to move forward. Yeah. So there was no ad that was put out yet. And I know we were also reviewing to see how well things go since we last discussed it.
He's been here every day. He's doing what he needs to do. He does
You got to speak up, nobody
he
can
does
hear
the
you.
work. I assign his work. And he does what I tell him to do. We stopped him in the middle of the power washing. He got to our cluster, cluster 1, and I stopped him because there was some other stuff that was more urgent than him continuing power washing for the remainder of cluster 1, 2, and 6. And so, he finished the other things that we needed him, or he worked on the other things that we needed him to do. And, to my knowledge, everything has been taken care of, satisfactorily. So, I do not foresee a problem with him. I do know he has some time off in June, the end of June, but that's it for the rest of the year. And he's been here every day since the last time he was off.
I have a question. Can we get duty free to cover like on an as needed basis? For example, he needs to put in requests for vacation and we could schedule out when we need coverage.
We can ask, typically, it's a staffing issue, so we'll have to ask if they have the staff to do it. I can ask.
Robin or Don, do you have any?
Well, I know, when I was in town, I spoke to Nancy a few times about different issues for Abraham to take care of, and they were taken care of. I have seen him around when I was down there the past 2 weeks. So I think he's moving in the right direction right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I think if he is, it's my understanding there were some issues in the past where he was not doing what he was supposed to be doing for whatever reason.
John?
But if he is now doing what we're expecting him to do, then I think, short of the weeks that he's off, we should allow him to continue to do it on the Mondays and Fridays, as mentioned.
John, let me explain a little piece of that to you. I was in Minnesota all summer last year. I went up in July and did not come back until November. And at that time, Tom was pretty much handling him, which was hands-off handling. He didn't really communicate with him. He got his work orders, and he took care of those. He emptied the dog bins, but his real job is a pastor in a church. And so he has these conferences and different things that he has to attend to. Sometimes, it's not all the time. And so when he has one of these religious conferences, things that he has to go to, then he is not here. And that's when we have to scramble as far as getting the dog stations emptied. So, but other than that, he's been here, he does his work, and he actually does it pretty darn quick. I'm surprised at how fast he can get things done. So that's really all I wanted to explain to you. He had no guidance throughout the summer, which kind of left him in a position where he didn't know what to do. And now he does again.
I had a question. Because when you're going to be away, or if you're going to be away, will somebody else oversee him? Or will you do it remotely?
No, I will not do it remotely because I can't see if I'm not here what needs to be done.
he's not on a computer.
And he's
not
not
on a
real
computer
computer
either,
literate
so-
at all.
Okay.
So, it would be more or less, somebody would just have to send him a list of the things he has to do. He gets here at 8 in the morning, he goes home generally at noon unless the job that he's doing takes longer, or he has other things that he has to do, or there's more gas. Then he usually leaves by 12:30 or so. So he's very punctual. And, somebody else would have to oversee him during the summer months. Or they'd
Okay.
have to at least give me the information of what needs to be done, and then I can send it to him.
All right, so should we make a motion to cancel duty free?
Oh, I was gonna make that motion, but now we find out that he's not gonna be here at certain times,
Just for 2 weeks. in
and
June.
that we don't have anybody to supervise him through the summer, so we kinda got a dilemma there. Of how do you cover,
I don't think it's a dilemma, Charlie, as long as somebody can feed me what needs to be, he has to do. As long as I keep getting his work orders, I can make sure he gets them.
okay, well, who's gonna cover the poop on the?
He
two-
will. The 2 weeks?
No, yeah, when
Yeah,
he's.
we-
The 2 weeks, then we have to either get somebody here to do it, which we've done in the past, or.
Well, wasn't Janet gonna check to see if
if
duty
they'll
free would
take
do it when he's off?
once in a while,
Yeah.
take the contract.
Yeah, when needed.
Okay,
So right now, it's just a topic of whether, when Abraham is out, not what he's gonna do when Nancy's not available, but do we
Yeah.
wanna go forward with duty free?
Correct.
okay, so I'll make a
Yep.
motion to drop the contract, or I guess we don't really have a contract with duty free, but we discontinue that payment.
I will second that.
Those in favor say yes.
Aye.
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 Those opposed? Silence. All right, we'll cancel, or not continue the contract with duty free. Okay, new business. Consideration of the empty director seat in cluster 6. She's not here, right? So we have 2 candidates from cluster 6 who put in their papers, and what I want to do quickly is I'm going to just read both of the well, we knew one of them was going to be unable. So I want to read both of what they sent us as a board so we can consider this. First one is, hello, my name is Fiona O'Reilly, and I have been living at cluster 6 for 5 years now. I work as a director of a preschool here in Bradenton and have been at the particular job for 15 years. I am familiar with most of the residents here in cluster 6 and some of the other clusters also. I am originally from Ireland and have been in the States for over 20 years. I have one teenage son who lives with me. The other candidate, my name is Susan Roscoe, and I purchased my home in Pebble Springs about 5 years ago. I am a former flight attendant and currently work as a customer service manager for American Airlines at the Sarasota-Bradenton International Airport. Serving on the board for Cluster 6 would be an opportunity for me to meet your residents, assist with problems, ensure our property stays safe, and fulfill responsibilities dedicated to the association. I greatly appreciate the opportunity to serve as a board member for Cluster 6. So we have 2 candidates that we have to vote on. Not sure what kind of discussion. I know, I will say this, when Cluster 6 had their pool issue, was it 2 weeks ago maybe? They had a backup issue in their shower. And Robin and I were over there talking with Sewell, and Edna came home. She'd been out of town, and I mentioned to Edna that we'd actually had several candidates apply for the director role. She was very excited, and she asked me if I knew who they were, and she specifically expressed her support for Fiona, because Fiona has helped her in the past when Edna was not able to really perform some of the duties because she might have been out of town or whatever. So she really endorsed Fiona quite heavily to both Robin and I. I do know that, and I can say this, right?
What's that?
The thing about the other candidates and some of the concerns.
Yeah.
I do know that there have been concerns with the other candidate in the fact that she's had parties, and she's been spoken to about the parties in the pool area, allowing pets in the pool area. and just some disruptive behavior.
Hopping the fence when the Board of Health shut the pool down.
Yeah, that one too. So I'm simply telling you a little bit of background information for like, Dawn, I don't believe you weren't, I don't know if you heard this information or not. I really didn't wanna, send it out via email, but I personally have a little bit of concern with Susan on the board, because I don't want somebody who isn't going to enforce the rules because she doesn't like to follow them herself. That's my opinion. Is there any discussion amongst the board? I don't think anybody here is from Cluster 6 to talk about, so. we can't-
And all I want to say is that, we're working really hard to have a very productive, cohesive board. I don't want to do something to jeopardize that right now, and we're all steering towards the same end, which is what's best for Pebble Springs and all the owners and the community at large. So, I appreciate the comments.
Thanks, Dawn. Anything from anybody else?
I think I can do
I
this.
feel strongly of hiring Fiona.
Okay.
I think I can make a motion to have a unanimous vote for Fiona.
Yep,
I'll second that.
I second.
all right. Do we agree?
I gotta ask.
Oh,
I.
aye.
Aye.
All right.
Opposed?
Any opposed? Nope.
Nobody left.
Fiona. Will you email or reach out to her, Janice?
Yeah, absolutely, and she did offer to meet with you guys after the meeting, I
Okay.
mean, not tonight, but you know.
Okay. All right. So, next order of business is consideration of newsletter and committee. So, I was chatting with Robin via email about how it would be nice to have a newsletter in Pebble Springs. We have a very spread out community. We have people who are here only half the year. And I thought it would be a nice way for us to connect people by introducing who the directors are, even doing like a resident or owner spotlight, introduce you to vendors, so if you see them on the property, you know why they're here. Robin was very interested in helping us put this together and kind of managing the process, but I wanted to talk, obviously, as the directors, of what you think about the idea of putting together a community newsletter for Pebble Springs.
I think it would be good if you have enough information. How often do you plan to publish this?
These are things that part of it, I would say monthly. Robin, I have experience with a monthly newsletter. Robin, what's your general experience?
I think monthly, it doesn't have to be lengthy, but just like an overview of what happened this month. And, we can have it posted on the website or whatever and say this is what's going on, or we can reach out to our owners and say, if you want to be kept informed, please send your email, and then we could just jot down, cluster 6 had a leak in their pool, but, we got it all taken care of, or, about vendors coming in, and, if you need screen work, these guys were really good, or, just to bring some commodity, between everybody.
I mean, I'm all for it.
How do you guys?
I know we've talked about this stuff, we were just never allowed to do any of that. I mean, I know I've talked about like membership or websites, so I'm all for it. We were never really able to get past.
A big part of your
discussion
meeting
part.
that you cut out from last year were the director reports, and that might be a good, each director gets their own little, even if it's just literally a sixth
Like
of a
a
page.
section?
Yeah, just to say, these are the things that we've completed if you haven't noticed, and here's what's coming up. And, for example, Charlie, that would be a good one, we're last chance with the dogs, or last chance with the street, you know what I'm saying, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly quite easy to make a website. It's not as difficult as it sounds. I learned that kind of by necessity. So doing something like that would be very easy to be able to set up and offer that. So I think it's a great idea.
So if we start with a newsletter and we see how a newsletter goes, if the community likes it, Charlie, do you have something?
Well, I was just saying, some associations have newsletters that are this thick, they sell advertising, and they're, you know, it depends on the editor, people that wanna put the work into it. You can make it as big as you wanna make it, or as small as you
Yeah.
wanna make it. I mean, it could be 2 pages.
Now, I love the marketing idea, because I know we're always looking for ways to generate some extra money, but we can't, it's always against the rules, so would that be allowed?
No. Usually. No, usually when they do that, it's an outside party that does the
That prints it
printing and
for
the,
us?
you know,
Oh.
the
Yeah.
distribution.
So,
My suggestion to you would be to start small,
Yeah.
you know, a couple page newsletter, and I only say a couple pages, cause if each cluster puts a little blurb in there each month, that'll take up a whole page, right? And just do a couple things, and grow it as you go.
I think
Don't
that would
plan
help
on
with,
it.
yeah, I think that would
I'm
help
sorry.
with the welcoming, because we talked about when new owners come, they have no information, like they don't even know where their mailbox is or how to get to the pool, so that would be, that I think would go hand in hand with the welcome committee type of thing, where at least they'll get the newsletter and we could have probably a basic section that never changes, that has all of like the, you know, Janet's like email and stuff that they need,
Yeah,
that would
like
never
your
change.
electric, how to get electric, how to get cable.
Yeah, oh, like
how
the
to
general
get
stuff, so that way it's already there, it's always there, and as people come and go, they can access that information easily.
To save some additional cost, would we send it via email?
I think we could very easily send it via email. We would just need people to supply their email addresses. I think we have all email addresses, and I think we can also attach them to the bulletin boards. So if people are over there getting their mail, they can take a look
Yep.
at them.
I think the issue also is, well, the only issue is that a lot of people that are here, that live here, aren't the owners, so they're not getting it, right?
Yeah, and that's why I think that we should have it
Posted.
at least posted so people can see it. Because, you know, again, you know, those of us who are here, we do wanna know who our neighbors are, and, so it sounds like we have a group of directors who are in favor of putting something together and contributing at least a section for your cluster, right?
Yeah, and you have a social committee that does activities that
We
can go
do.
in there, yeah.
And how do you all feel about, Robin, are you okay if we approve this, of kind of putting together a format, or would you like me to kind of step in and do that? I know you're really busy.
Well, one thing I wanted to ask Janet, do we need to have these newsletters approved by you?
No, I work for you.
No. Okay.
But,
So what we got down is fine.
yeah, I would say,
I guess,
can you hear me? I would say when you're sending your draft out to the rest of the board before it goes out to the community, I'll take a look at it too and just make sure nobody's saying anything that's against the statute.
okay.
That's all.
Yes, that's what I was looking for, some guidance just to make sure, I'm not going, you know, printing something that someone would be offended by or that wasn't legal. So Laura, if you wanna work on that, you and I,
Yes,
to get it started, that would be great, if everybody's in favor of it.
yes. So
I think we need to include some homeowners.
and that was one thing
Because
too.
they're kind of our feet on the street.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't hear her.
So Nancy had suggested that we also include some homeowners. And I have heard from some homeowners that would be willing to contribute. So if we go forward with this, I would ask that the directors kind of find out who in your cluster would like to contribute. Even if it's, you're writing up a blurb about one of your neighbors that we're gonna feature in one of the newsletters. You know, find out who might be willing to do it, or, you know, take pictures of your beautiful flowers that, I mean, Jan, when we did the walk around, we saw some, don't laugh over there in cluster 2, you guys have some cool stuff. When we were walking around, we saw some really beautiful things, and I think that we need to highlight what the great things that are happening in Pebble Springs, and a newsletter might be a good way of doing that. So, is there a motion to start a newsletter?
I'll make the motion to proceed with developing a newsletter, that's for Pebble Springs community.
With board oversight,
Yep.
just in case it gets a little further along.
second.
Thanks, Charlie.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? And I want to quick ask Janet, you had a comment.
Actually, you brought it up, because I was gonna say it should be posted on the boards.
Yeah.
There are still people that don't have emails and aren't computer literate, and it should be on the board.
Absolutely.
Let me repeat for the people on, in case you didn't hear her, Janet said she would like a Meet Your Manager section feature in the middle of the newsletter. That's what she said.
Yeah, right.
No. Janet actually said that she just wants to make sure that we post the newsletter on the bulletin board so everybody can see it. So absolutely, we will do that. Awesome. So we are gonna start a newsletter. Yay! Okay, there's
Very
my
cool.
excitement. Okay. Next order of business. This is me. I have, did I already give one? Oh, here we go. Pass those down. So, there you go. I'm gonna stand up because I have to talk and I do better when I stand. So one of the things, so the next item on the agenda is alternative lock to the master pool and clubhouse area. I wish I could say that this idea was mine. It was not. This idea, or this subject came up from Roxy in Cluster 4 over a year ago, actually. She and I talked about the fact that the pool area is not secure. And last summer, I can give you a firsthand experience. My niece, and if you have a small enough hand, you can actually put your hand behind the lock in that accesses the pool, and you can open it from the outside without having to enter the code. We have a locking mechanism that has been in place for a long time. We do not know how to change the code on it. We haven't been able to find any identifying information on it, and it is not secure. We have had to chase people out of the pool area at 11 o'clock at night. When Robin was in town for a couple weeks, her husband actually chased some teenagers out of the pool who were trying to shove their hand behind it as well to gain unauthorized access to the pool area. So the response that I've had is I come out and I padlock the key, or the padlock it shut and open every day. And I have been, I've had people show up at my door because they were upset that the pool was not open on a very windy or rainy day. I've had people question why it wasn't open at 8 o'clock in the morning, because I'm not up, I'll be honest. I'm not up at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm not coming out to open the pool. But the security of that pool area has been a bit of a concern, because I'm honestly afraid of the liability that we face if somebody gets into the pool and drowns who does not have access. And the reality of it is that even if the person's not supposed to be in there, if we get sued, parents of a teenager will win, because they will have the grief of losing their child because we failed to secure our pool from outside access.
Carrier.
Yep, and our insurance carrier is going to pay. We traced one access to somebody over in Cluster 2 who gave the code to their friends who don't live here. So we have a problem with the pool and access, and to the clubhouse. The clubhouse, we have keys floating around. We have no idea who has keys, and we can't continue on the path that we've been on. So I went down this very significant rabbit hole to find a more secure way of protecting the clubhouse and the pool. At first I thought it was going to be easy to just put a smart lock out there. It's not. A smart lock is not water resistant to the extent that we would need it because of how it's exposed. So I spoke to, it's Corey Gilmore, right? That's
Pool guy.
The pool guy is Corey Gilmore. Because I was like, who do you service and what do they use? And so Corey told me about Brevo, is the company that is actually used by Riviera Dunes. And Brevo is managed through a couple different ways. One of them is an app on your phone. So I reached out to Brevo and I asked for a demo, and I attended a demo with them, and then last week we had a local agency come out and walk the property with us. If you saw us going into your courtyards, it's because we wanted to get an idea of maybe protecting the courtyards as well with this sort of mechanism. that's not on the agenda for tonight. So I had a call today with Red One. It's the local company that would be responsible for installing and providing us access. Now, I want to give you an idea of what we put into scope for this work. Number one is the pool, the gate over into the pool area. Number two is the door coming from the pool into the restroom area. I don't know if you realize this or not, but you can take a pen and you can open up that door without a code. So that's why it's so important that we always keep that latched, because you can gain access to the entire clubhouse just by pushing open that door. It is also the front door here and the back door to the clubhouse. So there are 4 things in scope, as well as putting security cameras around the clubhouse. Part of the justification for the security cameras is we have activities in the grassy knoll, as I like to refer to it, people not picking up after their animals, and this is a way for us to identify who they are. We also have issues with things that are going on over in cahoots. We've had issues with the fence coming down on multiple occasions, and this could cut down on that as well. Right now, the pricing that they gave us was for 5 cameras, but surprisingly enough, the cameras are not the priciest part of this whole thing. So what they did when we walked the property was initially look at this area and protecting it. And they would put in a larger reader on the front. And what this allows us to do as a board is control access. Our vendors would have their own access through the app on their phone, so we would know when they were accessing the clubhouse, when they were accessing the pool area, and we also have the ability to identify who's accessing the pool at what times. We also have the ability to remotely lock and unlock the pool. So we can say at dawn, I want the pool to unlock, and it will do that. And because of this update, we can see who the people are using a video camera to make sure that the people coming into the pool have the right to be there. So it was quite the endeavor. The gentleman that I met with, it was a little startling to see how unsecure we are. But with that being said, what we looked at, he provided me an estimate of labor and cabling. These are estimates because it all depends on when they actually get here to do the work. So 5 indoor-outdoor dome cameras with camera licenses and SD cards. Everything is in the cloud, so we don't have to have a room to house all of the mechanisms. We can access it remotely. The materials for that were $2,842. The access control is the heart of what we're looking to do. We did say that we'd like to get at the most 25 key fobs for people who do not have a smartphone or are not comfortable putting an app on their phone. At least the fob would allow them access. We have some additional features with that. That total is $4,600. The cabling, these were things that they told us are estimates. 300 feet of cables and miscellaneous materials, $500, and then the labor is $4,860 for a total of $13,486. I talked to Janet because I wasn't entirely sure what I should expect for pricing, because I imagine you hear that number and you're like, that's a lot of money, and I don't disagree. But I think that a lawsuit would be worse. And Janet had given me, kind of reminded me, right, that we do have money coming back to us from Spectrum. A little over $35,000 is coming back to us for the work that you did, Megan, to get us a very significant refund on what we're paying. So that money does come back to the master for us to kind of determine how we want to disperse. At this point, I've told you, my suggestion is that we do look at paying for this out of the Spectrum refund and really approach protecting our property and our residents much more proactively than what we have. So with that, open the floor. You have a question, Nancy?
Is Red One the only company in the area that provides this product and installs? What I'm getting at is it because of the dollar amount? Is it worthwhile getting an additional bid on the same product and the same equipment to see if we can get a better price from one of the other, distributors?
Yeah. I feel that too.
Yes, I mean, I can go back to, so I got, this company was referred to me from Burrito. So they put me in touch with the local, man on the street, if you will. So I will, definitely take that back and see who else can do this type of work.
I think it's a great idea, and it's definitely the direction that either other communities are already at or are going. I was visiting a friend at Perico Bay, I think it's called, down the street, yeah, and I was with her, so I got to see it in action, and like the parking gate, literally